Is there any hope for me who lives in a poor country in Africa to break in to this field? So what would you say to someone who's outside the US and feels like the odds are stacked against them?
Just start by learning some YouTube courses or some Udemy courses. After some point, you will know like what you have to do. You have to learn programming, Linux, working, and then that's how you start. And then once you are there, do you want a degree or some certifications? Well, that's a way to enter into the US as well. So they come on a student visa and then do some certifications. Once you are there, then networking. It's absolutely right way to get into the industry.
Welcome to the Hackers Cache, the show that decrypts the secrets of cybersecurity one byte at a time. I'm your host, Kyser Clark, and today I have Bhanu Reddy, who is a cybersecurity professional and entrepreneur with expertise in penetration testing and network security. An OSCP and Security Plus holder, he has trained students worldwide, co-founded training programs, and built Capture the Flag labs. Today, he mentors aspiring professionals, shares his journey through career challenges, and is launching Nomo Toys, an AI startup. So, Bhanu, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and unpack some of your experience.
Thank you, Kaiser. So my journey towards the cybersecurity started from my college. So I did my undergrad in mining engineering, which is completely different. When I was there, I met with the cyber attack. Then I started digging like how it happened, why it happened out of my curiosity. That's how I got into cybersecurity. Then I did some certifications and courses such as Security Plus. Later, I did my master's in the US in cybersecurity, and then I did my OSCP, and then I worked some places. Then I started my own cybersecurity startup in the US. Then later on, I got a better idea. Then I started Nono twice.
Yeah, so what is Nomo Toys? I mean, AI toys. I mean, I'm not in the toy world. I've been an adult for a while now. I don't have any kids. So AI toys sounds really interesting to me. So what is Nomo Toys and what excites you about it?
So Nomo Toys is basically interactive toys, which is by using generative AI. So we have ChatGPT, let's say it gives only text output. And for kids, they need a friend or a teacher or a guide or a tutor sometimes. And then that way they can communicate with the toys and they can learn better and then interact better. That way they don't have these type of classes and they will not having any social anxiety or anything like that. So by improving their communication skills and stuff in the future, I thought it would be a big problem, and then this way I can solve it better. So that's why I came up with this idea, and then I I actually tried on some kids by using how they respond and stuff. I'm still working on it.
In so you're with the AI being in the toys, what kind of security issues as a security professional are you concerned about? Like what bringing in the security aspect to it, like what is the top concerns with security and how are you testing that?
So the top concerns is like when they go beyond some point, let's say prompt injections. So this way they can do voice prompt injections. Let's say, hey, how can I make a bomb? If AI respond how to make a bomb, that's going to be a big problem for me and for them as well in the future. So I don't want to have those kind of issues. So what I was doing is I'm not training at all anything related to that part or anything related to data. So the toys I was designing is two types. One is local, so that will respond whatever the data it has inside the device. So it don't connect to the internet. And the another toy that I was doing is that will connect to the internet and then talks about trending searches and then trending data available on the internet. So I was not trying to include any data like what's unnecessary in that part.
Yeah, that's good. And I wish more toy manufacturers and like IoT manufacturers are founded by security professionals because that's like at the forefront of your mind, I'd imagine. So yeah, because a lot of these companies who make devices Like they got good ideas, but they don't know how to secure them, and it's a problem. And I've seen or heard some other toys that like collect children's data, and like it gets leaked out on the dark web because it wasn't secured, you know. So that's really good that you're paying attention to that, and yeah, that sounds really cool and interesting.
Thank you, guys.
So I have a juicy conversation popping up, but before we get into it, I want to get into the rapid fire questions. And the rapid fire questions, for those who are new to the show, Bonnie will have 40 seconds to answer 5 questions. If he answers all 5 questions in 40 seconds, he'll get a bonus 6 question unrelated to cybersecurity. So, Bonnie, are you ready for security Mad Libs? I think I called them rapid fire questions. That's what they used to be called. They're technically called security Mad Libs. Basically the same thing, just slightly
Mhm.
different.
Okay.
They're like fill in the blank questions. So, are you ready?
Yep. Let's start it.
All right, here we go. Your time will start as soon as I stop asking the first question.
Okay.
My advice to anyone failing their OSCP is
Is try harder next time.
my red team kit always includes
Flipper 0.
a tool I thought was useless, but now I love is
That's Metasploit.
the worst interview question I've ever seen was
Explain what was top 10 in the series.
my ideal CTF teammate would be someone who
Heath Adams.
we hit 49 seconds, so no bonus question, but I think you misunderstood the first question, or sorry, that last question. It was I was looking for a trait, not a particular person. Do you want to take another stab at that one?
So what's the question again? Sorry.
My ideal CTF teammate would be someone
Oh,
who does what?
who
Like
the
a trait.
malware analysis or reverse engineering.
Although Heath Adams would be a good CTF teammate, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, well, your most interesting response, it took you a while to say it, was my advice to anyone failing their OCP is try harder. I'm laughing because it's like, bro, that's how you do it. That is how you do it, and no
Yeah.
one likes to admit it, and no one likes it, but that's how you do it. And I never failed OCP, but I failed OSWA 3 times, and guess what? I tried harder, and I eventually won. Yeah. So, do you have any other advice for OCP takers or people who's failed their OCP?
So all I would say is never give up. So when I was taking my OSCP for the first 12 hours, I didn't find any flag or anything. I wasn't disappointed or anything. I still have 24 hours. So I didn't give up. Then I started like what's missing, and then I connected the dots. Then all of them put together. Then finally passed the test. Finally able to find 4 missions. I was able to compromise Active Directory and 2 more missions. Got 80 points just to pass the exam. And I also solved all the labs. Solving all the labs would help you actually gain more knowledge and then think out of the box how you can solve the labs in general. That's the
Yeah,
only.
I was gonna ask, can you tell the audience when you pass your OCP? Like what when you do that?
Mhm. So I passed my OSCP in 2024 June, I think. Yeah, June, as far as I remember. So it's pretty
So it would have been
interesting.
right before they changed it.
Yeah,
Okay. So no OSCP plus for you.
no ICP plus, unfortunately.
Yeah, that sucked. Cause I got OCP 2 years before OCP plus came out. You got it like a few months.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's like it's so frustrating. You're like, man, I don't have the plus, but I passed this. I did the same amount of work. But
Yeah.
yeah. So did you fail or did you pass on your first try?
Yeah, I passed it in my first try.
And you had no flags after 12 hours?
No flags at all.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. 12 hours straight with no flags?
Yeah,
Bro, you gotta be that's called man, I love it. That's try harder because like, dude, I'd be losing my mind. I would be losing my mind after 12 hours with no flags.
same thing
I
for
think
me. So I slept like 4 hours. So first 8 hours I tried continuously, and then 4 hours I slept without thinking about anything. Then I woke up with a fresh mind, and then I started it there. I did it.
that's sick. I like that. I like that
Mhm.
a lot. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I honestly have no idea when I found my first flag on my OSCP because I've passed my first time as well. I don't remember how many hours it took me to get my first one, but it took me at least two or three. At least it took me two or three, but
So
it took me
another
17 hours for the whole exam.
another interesting part that I would add is meditation comes into play at that time for me. Then I always think calm and then fresh. So I meditate a lot. So that really helped me at the time.
That's good advice and that's good wisdom because I failed, as I mentioned earlier, I failed OSWA, which is the web app version of OSCP. I like to consider like the cousin of OSCP.
Mm-hmm.
Failed it three times, passed my fourth try. And the funny thing is, when I haven't told a story yet. I don't think on the podcast. I have said I have failed it three times, but I haven't said this particular part. So when the night before the exam, we were having our Thanksgiving dinner as a family because I purposely scheduled the exam on a day that wasn't Thanksgiving, but apparently my mom had to work on Thanksgiving, and so
Yeah.
we had to have Thanksgiving like way earlier than we should have. And so we were having our Thanksgiving dinner, and I stayed up to like 1:30 in the morning, like before my exam. And my exam started at like 7 a.m. sharp because I like to
Oh.
start the exam as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just being dumb because I don't know why, but I stayed up to like 1 in the morning at my parents' house, which is like a 15-minute drive from my
Mm-hmm.
apartment at the time. And yeah, I was just literally watching my dad play video games, like watching him play Madden and talking to him. It was because I don't spend a lot of time with my family, so when you get together, like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make the most of it, and like foolishly stayed up till 1 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning. I only had 5.5 hours of sleep, which isn't really a lot of time for that much demanding critical thinking you got to
Yeah.
do. So I woke up at 6:30, got ready, started the exam at 7, and I spent like 45 minutes just like doing my enumeration and just trying to figure it out. And I'm like, dude, screw this. I am tired. I'm going to take a nap. And I'm not even kidding. Took a nap at 7:45 in the morning, 45 minutes after I started the exam, and I slept till noon. Slept
Dude.
till noon slept till noon, and
Uh-huh.
then I woke up, got a snack, got some food in me, and
Mm-hmm.
then absolutely crushed the exam. So you said meditate. I'm not a big meditator. Actually, I've never meditated, but I took a nap in my exam, and you'd
Mm-hmm.
be surprised how well that works.
Yeah, of course. So when you had enough rest, then you'll think out of the box or you can think peacefully. So that way you can concentrate on what you have to do. Even it's not only the OSCP exam or anything, any exam or any work, even your working company. So if you don't have enough rest, you can't focus. So recently I saw a video, not a video, a blog. Someone has died in the office at Microsoft by working more hours.
Yeah, I heard about that. Was it Microsoft?
Yeah, it's Microsoft. So that guy is 32 years old. Based on the blog, they were saying he used to work a lot and then go to office every day, and then all of a sudden he's dead. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, all I would say is take rest and do something with the innovation or creation.
Yeah, good advice. I am I do subscribe to the hustle culture and I get a lot of flack for it, but I really don't care because I like to work. I'm a workaholic. But like there's times where I'm like, dude, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to sleep. And then I wake up and I'm like, I knock it out of the park, like the lab or the exam or whatever it is. I recently did a live stream and that was one of the things I talked about. I was like, if you get good rest, man, you can have some really good late night sessions.
True.
Okay, so moving back into our main discussion here. So before we linked up on this recording, one of the notes you sent me was you like to talk about um kind of like surviving from outside the US. And I'm really glad you mentioned that because someone just commented. I mean like a couple hours ago on a video. Now by the time this episode releases it's going to be like a whole week. But someone asked this question and I feel like you would be better to help this person out because I'm in the US and you're not. So he said, or she said, Is there any hope for me who lives in a poor country in Africa to break in to this field? So what would you say to someone who's outside the US and feels like the odds are stacked against them?
So I would say absolutely yes, because everybody can break into cybersecurity even without having any degree or anything. Then you can just start by learning some YouTube courses or some Udemy courses, and then start your journey like that. After some point, you will know like what you have to do. You have to learn programming, Linux, working, and then that's how you start. And then once you are there, so do you want a degree or some certifications? Some people like to choose degrees or certifications. Then, in their point of view, that's a good idea. Then that's how they started. So that's a way to enter into the US as well. So they come on a student visa and then do some certifications. And education is too expensive in the US. You should consider that part as well until unless you get a scholarship. So once you are there, then networking. It's absolutely right way to get into the industry or meet people. And so once you're in the college and doing certifications, by sitting alone, you don't get anything. You have to do some blogs or interacting with people and meet your college professors like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm passionate about. If they're interested in anything similar, or do work with them and then do some research like what they're working on. So when I was in the college, that's a mistake I did. So I asked professor like, hey, I want to do this. So this is my passion about penetration testing and red teaming. So nobody was interested in red teaming or penetration testing. That means I picked the wrong college. See, so picking a right college and then right professors you wanna work with. It's not only about your PhD or anything. You can still do the same thing with your masters. So once you got connections and everything, it's easy to get into the industry. So you have a professor who's working in penetration testing. Absolutely, he might have some connections or anything. He can refer you to those positions, and then that way people like to take chance on you. If you're by yourself doing like absolutely nothing without networking, it's going to be very tough situation for you.
Yeah, that's good advice. You say come over on a visa. I mean, I have no idea how that works. So how does that work and like what do you got to do to do make that happen?
Okay, so that's a good question. So to get into the US, you had to write the IELTS exam, which you need to get at least 7.5 on a band out of I think nine. Yeah, so I think nine. So out of seven, so once you get into 7.5, I didn't write the GRE, so which is kind of sad or something. So similar. So I didn't write GRE. I just applied with my scores and my certifications, my passion towards, and then I put everything in a document. So it's called SOP, Statement of Purpose. So I put everything on that. Then I applied. I got rejections from 4 universities, and the two universities got accepted. One is New York State University and then University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So I did my master's over there. Then yeah, so once you complete your education, you get 3 years to stay in the US. So in the first 90 days, you have to get a job, which is paid or unpaid in the same industry that you wanted to work and which you did your master's in. So in the 90 days, if you don't get any job, then you had to come back from the US. So most of them will be able to find some unpaid jobs because people don't like to pay. They just want people like to work. So after getting the job, then you'll have 1 year to stay, like continue working for them. So after that, so there was something called STEM OPT, which you get 2 more years. So here you have to get paid and submit some other documents from the employer. That way your visa will extend for 2 more years.
Yeah, and one thing I'm wondering, so with the advent of remote work, do people even need to come over to the United States? Can they stay in their home country? How does that work if that's even possible?
So from here, if I want to work for any other US company, they don't prefer to hire me since I work in a remote location. They prefer to hire someone who is already in the US or close to their location. I'm not sure why and how, because anyway, if I want to travel to the US, I can travel to the US. Like if they needed me over there, I can. So basically HRs is think out of the box. I can't think like them. So
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I don't know much about visas, and I'm not an employer, so I'd imagine from the employer's perspective, at least I always thought like it would be hard to like. There's like some legalities there that probably some hurdles or some hoops they gotta jump to give people like work visas and stuff. And I
mhm.
feel like it's easier just to like auto decline people who aren't from the US, especially when there's people in the US like here applying for jobs as well. And it is a tough job market, even in for a US citizen too. So I'd imagine it's like it's gotta be like double or triple the amount of difficult for non US members. Um
Absolutely true.
now do people in other countries do they have to work for a US company? Is there other countries that are viable options?
Yeah, there are so many options here in India. So let's say Google company over there, and then they have a branch over here, like the subcategory. And then most of the people like to work for Google, so they can work from here too. So if someone is very talented, and then Google company sponsors the visa for them to get to the US and then work for them over there. So there are so many options. You can even like do your freelancing thing. You don't have to work for somebody. You can do bug bounty by yourself. You can do teaching. You can like do contracting, like, hey, I can do this thing instead of like. So the way I market myself is like, if you're paying like $50 an hour to somebody, I'll do the same job for you from here for $30 an hour. So that way they'll think of considering me. So I work for a US company. That way, with instead of $50, they like to pay me $30. So I was thinking to start another company like that, hire female people and do the same thing that way. So it would be easier for me, and I can still help people to get employed. So that's my main goal idea.
Interesting. So you take a pay cut and entice people to hire you that way. That makes a lot of sense. Um, so you've mentored students who landed jobs at places like the Department of Defense and Oracle. So what
Yes.
mistakes do you see candidates making in interviews right now, and how can they stand out?
It's a interesting question. So everybody is different. So the guy who was placed in Oracle, so he's a database administrator, and he has some knowledge on Linux and like little bit of networking and then a little bit of everything, but he don't have any clue about cybersecurity. And so he started his journey like the, and then since he's a database administrator, Oracle prefers someone who knows database as well. So that way he sit for interview, and then they ask some very difficult question that what he mentioned. So I asked him like, what did they ask you? Like, so why do you want to switch from database administrator to cybersecurity? He mentioned, I want to work in cybersecurity. So that's not a good way of saying. So he should be saying like, I have passion towards cybersecurity. That's why I wanted to work for you. Not only work for you, I wanted to like prove myself and like I can do something better than database administrator into cybersecurity. That's how we can say. That's a good question. Like in most of the interviews people get, like, why do you want to switch or why do you want to work for us? Yeah, that's what I noticed. And then they're also lacking their let's say SOC roles or pen testing roles. They're not fully prepared to get into the interview. Some people didn't even show up on the time. So last time for No More Toys, I was hiring somebody. That guy was wearing a shirt with two buttons, without two buttons, and then he was showing his chest like, hey, dude, like, that's not the way you're supposed to show up on the interview. And and then that guy, so he's also cheating on the interview. That's so embarrassing for me, like, ask questions to him. So I was asking a question, and then he was typing in the Google or whatever. Then I see here, like, he's typing. Then I stop the interview. So this is not the way you're supposed to attend for the interview, and then prepare well, try better like next time. That's the feedback I gave him. So don't do those type of mistakes when you're in the interview. Be honest. Like, if you don't know something, like, acknowledge it. Like, hey, I don't know the topic. So that way they don't ask those type of questions, or they'll go to another questions. Yeah, that's all I would say.
That's really good advice. And yeah, when an employer asks you, why do you want to work here, you should always tie your passion into the company's mission statement in some way, shape, or form, and say that your goals and your vision and your interests align with the company. And then another thing I always said when I was coming out of the military, I would be like, I'm looking for the next challenge because I feel stagnant in my current role and I want to get out of the military. I'm looking for my next thing. And I just have a huge passion for cybersecurity and I have a huge passion for penetration testing and I love ethical hacking because I like thinking like a hacker and I like thinking outside the box and I'm ready for the next challenge. And I'd say something along those lines over and over again on my interview. Yeah, I
That's
think it's a
all.
good way to put it. Like you talking about that database administrator, like I think if you just say, um, yeah, like I feel stuck in my current role, I feel plateaued. I don't feel like I'm growing. I feel like I've mastered it. I'm ready to level
Mhm.
up. I'm ready for the next challenge. I think employers like to hear that.
Yes, absolutely.
And then cheating on the interview, bro. No, don't do that. Don't look up stuff. They can hear you clicking, dude. They can also see you looking at the other monitors too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to stare at the camera. It's weird, and it's even hard for me, someone who does it all the time.
Mhm.
It's weird to stare at the camera because your face is on my monitor, and I look down here to like see your lips moving. But when you talk to the interviewer, you need to stare directly at the camera. Like, don't look at the interviewer's face. Look at the camera, and it's very weird, but it's highly effective because it shows that you're really interested in the job. I mean,
True.
yeah,
I
so
agree.
it is unnatural to stare at the camera, but
Mhm.
just get used to it. Practice doing it and doing it and do it. Man, those are some good interview tips. Yeah, let's go ahead and get in our final question here. Do you have any additional cybersecurity hot takes or hidden wisdom you'd like to share?
Hot takes. All I would say is keep up with the current trends and then do networking. So when I mentioned current trends, so if you're sticking with your old red team tricks, that won't work in nowadays because AI is here. So you have to cope up with AI and then how you can implement AI into your work environment or your working methodology. So I recently saw there was a tool for red teaming, so which is combined with the AI. That was pretty awesome, which is Hacker Strike. So pretty interesting. You install AI in your mission and then just ask question how to do this, and then it will give you what are the commands you need to run and blah blah blah. So that way, so it will be helpful and you can still look at the future and then do more certifications on AI or anything which can improve your skill and keep up with current trends.
Great advice. And I do have a follow up question. We do have time for a follow up question. I've been trying to do the final wisdom, and not do follow up questions, but we do have time for it. So I want to ask it. So, how do you keep current with current trends without getting distracted by the next shiny object? Because it's easy to get off track and off of your vision and chasing the next shiny object. So how do you balance that?
Okay, so that's a good question. So I don't use any social media other than LinkedIn. So I don't have Instagram, Facebook. So there is no distractions on this side, on the mobile side. So I always keep my phone in silent. So if I get any important stuff, and then they'll text me, I'll look into text. And the other thing that as I mentioned earlier, I do meditation so I can focus on what I'm doing. I can control my emotions. So even let's say my body is itchy, so I don't, so I see that as a feeling. I'll just acknowledge it. I'll let it go. So after some time, I don't feel anything on my body at all. Even the pain, the same thing. I can't do anything about my nose. So it's cold here and the weather changes, so I can't stop breathing. Yeah. And then when it comes to current trends, I follow a few people on LinkedIn. So like David Bumba and then Clark, and there is some other person that I couldn't recall, but they post very interesting videos, and then what are the things you need to do, what are the things you're not supposed to do. And there was some other website called cybernews.com, where they post latest trend, which is pretty interesting. There were so many data breaches were happening. They post everything. So if I miss something, and then I also was in the some groups on LinkedIn, so where they post like so much stuff about latest news. So that's a way to keep up with the current trends, and my meditation always helps one way or another. So I love to be in the peace environment. So pretty interesting for me.
Well, Bhanu, thank you so much for your wisdom and your expertise. Where can the audience get a hold of you if they want to connect with you?
So you can connect with me. Everyone can connect with me on LinkedIn. Feel free to check out. So it's our hack, linkedin.com/our hack. I can paste the link in the chat as well.
I'll put it in the description of the
Okay,
show. I always do it
sure.
for every guest. Don't worry about it. And audience, the best place to get a hold of me is just drop a YouTube comment, ask your questions, leave your comments and your thoughts in the YouTube comments. And if you're on audio, rate the show 5 stars would help the show out tremendously. And share the show with a friend. Cybersecurity is a lot better with your friends. Audience, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, I see you on the next episode. Until then, this is Kyser and Bhanu signing off.
Signing out. Bye bye. Thank you.